Who's scruffy looking?
Full disclosure, I actually haven't finished writing the Lord of the Rings books versus movies review yet. I've written enough of it that I can start filming, but I haven't actually finished it yet. I have just finished writing Round 7.
Round 7 is imagery. That should tell you something right there. Because imagery is never the last round. Hello friends and neighbors, it is September 18th. Today I go into, lighting is bad because it's raining out. Today I drive into Worcester to attend the substitute teaching orientation that I managed to get into due to a cancellation yesterday morning. It's a 3-hour orientation that I've already done. So yeah, I'm probably in for a boring afternoon, but then I thought I was going to be in a boring afternoon when I did this 4 years ago, and the guy who ran the orientation actually turned out to be really engaging and really, really good at what he was doing. So hopefully he's running it again, or they've got somebody just as good. So we'll see how that goes. Time jump. Oh no! I time jumped all the way back to the 80s! No, guys, it's Pepsi throwback, and I put on a different shirt. Duh, guys. Duh. No, I'm not turning into Wheezy Witter. No, we're not doing that again. No. For real this time. Time jump. Back to good old 2012. Even though I'm driving a car from 1995. I'm at the point in the writing process where I'm trying, especially this season, to be very careful. When I'm considering the categories for books versus movies reviews, a lot of categories are no-brainers. Like, sometimes you don't really need to think very hard to know which one is better. Like, for example, it wasn't that hard for me to know that Frodo is better in the book and that the composition is better in the movie for Lord of the Rings. But every so often, and especially when you're looking at a tiebreaker story like Lord of the Rings, you'll get categories where it could honestly go either way. And a lot of times I struggle with these categories because sometimes I could look at it either way. I could argue it either way, which I will sometimes do in order to even out the categories a little bit. So what I'm trying to do, especially in the new season, is I'm trying to make my arguments as clear as I can. I will acknowledge that in some of my books versus movies reviews, I haven't always made my individual round arguments terribly clear. Like, I'll watch an old books versus movies review and I'll think, really? I went with book on that one? And so what I'm trying to do now, increasingly, is really hold myself accountable to my opinions. And this means a couple of things. First of all, it means that I have to make my arguments clear and I have to have a definite reason for choosing what I choose, even if that reason is just personal preference. And if it is just personal preference, I have to make that clear. I have to say, it could go either way, it comes down to personal preference, and my personal preference is for this because. And so like I was talking about a few days ago, you need to consider what the other side is going to say, what the opposing argument is going to be. And a lot of times, oh hi, you can see my face now. A lot of times you have to say, we're going to have to agree to disagree on this point. And sometimes I succeed in doing that, and sometimes I don't. And that's the second aspect of accountability, is you have to be honest about when your opinion changes or if you think that you were mistaken. One of the things I had to do both as a bachelor's student and a master's student of music is I had to write a philosophy of music education paper. And what my professor who assigns this project always says is, read it again in 10 years and tell me if you still think the same thing. Because philosophies change with experience. Your beliefs are going to change as you grow older and you learn more things and you experience more things. And sometimes even my opinions regarding books and movies, which one is better, are going to change, which is why I did the books versus movies review reduxes back in July and June. Did I do some in June? June and July. Summer. Over the summer. I did them over the summer. And I know that a lot of people didn't really understand why I felt the need to do those, but it's simply because I felt like I needed to take another look at those stories. And I think I made better reviews than the ones that I made 2 years ago simply because I held myself accountable to the things that I didn't think were quite right or quite clear anymore. And if your opinions have changed, that doesn't make you wishy-washy, that doesn't make you a flip-flopper, it just means that you've had more experiences, you've had more time to consider what your opinions are, and maybe you look at things a little bit differently now. And I have great respect for any critic or any reviewer that is willing to do that, that is willing to take their own opinions to task. And on that note, I am going to continue my drive to where I will learn about how to be a substitute teacher. So until tomorrow, VEDSies, I'll see you later.
I have a wizard staff in the back of my car.